And hello, everybody.
I'm getting my hair perm.
Happy, what is it, Saturday night, as my title implies. This is just kind of like a last minute, hey, really don't have anything planned. I'll say hi to everybody, though. Hey, Linda, Barbie, Franca, Barbara M, Mary B, Steven, Princess Mariposa, Critter, Reader, Ola, Rabbit, and that's as much content as I'm going to give you tonight. Just want to say hello to everybody, and now we're getting into this live. Hi, Angelica, Paulette, Ellie. We just got home a little bit ago, and I don't know. I didn't see anybody was live on YouTube, so I thought I would hop on for a minute and see how everybody was doing. Cody just made Hey, Wendy. Cody just made frozen burritos that he did not take gusto. If you're picking up what I'm putting down.
No, it's fine.
And that's our night.
My curls are falling out.
Hey, Nisi. Let's see. Kitties are okay. It's still like shitpocalypse here, although it's been a dry day here in the house. And that's as exciting as our life is.
Not on my part.
Hey, Betty. Boo.
Betty Boop.
Betty Boo. Betty Boo. Anybody watching Saturday Night Live later? It's like the 50th anniversary. Hey, Linda.
Who's hosting?
I don't know. Probably everybody. Probably everybody. Hey, Zelda with a Z. I honestly have nothing for you. 0.00
of who?
Of anything to give you right now at the present time. People gotta ask me, go live, go live, go live. No one's live. And I'm like, I don't know what to say. Hi, Sarah. That's right. A whole 0.00 of content I can give you. I can go, hey, Sly. Have you seen Agatha? I don't know who that is. What's up, Paulette? Well, you know, the funny thing is I did text Mara, Linda, because I'm like, maybe we can get Mara on the horn here and do like the whole poop thing, but she is unavailable, probably pooping. So maybe maybe if the cats all heard Mara's voice, they'd all want to poop like at the same time, which would be great and not great at the same time, which would be wonderful and not wonderful, equally amounts of the same part at the same time.
Every day is Christmas when I wake up here.
Yeah, it's a miserable day here. I'm sure it's pretty miserable around the whole country, especially, a hurricane and everything like that. So give me something to talk about. Hey. Oh, my friend, you have to watch me and Mara together. We have no shame when it comes to our poop stories. I think Mara is the only person on the planet that's got me beat. I tried this new blackout look here with the StreamYard. And I also just get really mad because I try to put like this little stream. Look how much better I look. Oh, hi. Oh, hey. Oh, hey. Oh, welcome to my channel. Oh, I like this. Oh, hi. Oh, look, all my lines are gone.
You look the same.
Oh, no, I look way better. Oh, hi, everybody. Hey, Geneva. Oh, welcome to my channel. Hi. I'm in a mood. Jay, but yeah, but the people have heard our stories. I'm sorry, what? I don't even know. Dave,
trying to start a clock.
Wait, why aren't you guys live doing a Lego thing? I'd probably be there watching it. Hey, Amy. Yes, so that's the news, and
what part?
We try to talk about that on Monday night. with Katie Joy, and then that just went down some just
Icy Hill.
just like there was she was saying a lot. Like I was like, wow, she really knows her stuff about that. But that was the intent on the live on because she was the one that broke the story. Oh, next week is Legos. Okay. Kitties are okay. It's just gonna be like an all the time thing now because they're old. Any other questions about stuff I can answer? Like what my favorite color is? I don't know. No, I did not watch that. It's funny. I don't know. Should we watch it now? I don't even want.
No.
I don't even want to watch it, to be honest with
What is
you.
it?
The only thing is, publicists don't run to people like that. So if that's in my experience, you don't get, a team like that until I'm sure he's paying for it, is my point. Duh. I was gonna lobby you like a few easy ones just to get the ball rolling. You want to play trivia against me and Cody? I really got nothing. If I could relive one day, what day would you choose? Two days I would pick.
No, you can't. You have to pick one.
I have to pick two.
No, you can't.
2 days I would have to
No.
redo. I live a life of regret, Cody. There's many days I want to put on that little calendar,
No, you
but
have to pick one.
every decision I've made, I've usually regretted it. But I have 2 days for 2 different reasons. So the first day would be Cody, grab me the picture, please, of me on the best day of my life.
Of course, of you.
It's the best day, but it's pre-Cody, so I feel bad saying it because he wasn't around then. I wish he was, but because that was just a good day for me. So this day was when and that's my grandmother in front of me. That's when I won 5 out of 9 awards at my college and became valedictorian. That was like the kickoff to graduation, and that was probably like the best day of my life. But Cody wasn't there, which makes me feel bad about it. But my grandmother was, which makes me like, oh. But I would redo the second day would be our wedding because my crazy Italian family
ruined everything.
Ruined it. And yeah.
Well, because they had to.
Because they all had a fight with each other, and I wish I can get another go at my wedding.
Not invite
because I literally missed half my wedding because I was with assorted family members and cousins and aunts splitting people apart, and the whole night.
None of them would be there. Trust me.
So that's why I say those 2 days, and a multitude of other days. But yeah, Dave. You know what's funny? We were almost going to put the owl back together. I said, Cody, do you want to put the owl back together? And I was going to have him do it with me. And then we both decided that would be a bad idea. I just got so mad. So the owl's still in the box, and I ripped every part of that owl together. It's a basic start from scratch redo. So yeah, those are the 2 days.
Those were the days
I would pick over. Any other question? That was a fun one. Lobby another one like that. Does anybody want to come up? Oh, there goes my filter. Look at it not working.
So what days do you actually regret, John? Let's flip the switch here.
What days do I not regret? It's an easier question. Oh my god, I'm like my stupid filter is just How does everybody get away with using filters? And like I'm like the one person just can't ever use them. It's really annoying. You gotta drop your everyone drop their channels, please. Advertise yourself. Be merry.
You want to puke in my shoes some more? Is that what you're waiting for? Sorry, Phoebe. Not tonight.
Oh, am I hearing some type of like board game? Wait. Let me see. Yes, check out Dave's channel, please. I'm gonna come on. I'm gonna hop on there in the middle of one of their lives with my owl that's put together that I'm probably gonna have to pay somebody to do because that owl is just impossible.
Yeah.
Cody's like, can't you just pay someone to put it together? It's too technical. It's got gears and everything now. Like this gear makes the wings go up and down. This other gear makes the wings go back like that. This other gear makes the head go up and down. Like I didn't need like a working model of Hedwig, just like Hedwig. Not that I love the gift, but I just had no idea it was that technical. Okay, go get the game and then come up. I'll give you the link. Hold on. I'll text it to Wendy.
What game? Sorry.
No, Dave from the Lego channels here, and he's got a game. Hold on, let me figure this out. And I'm all for a good old fashioned board game. Let me see here. All right. Wendy, I'm texting you the link. And Wendy, you're free to, if you want to come up, please feel free and take the burden off of me. I don't have anything to talk about. Please. No, I threw the owl back into the box. Here, I'll show you. Hold on. And it's been sitting here right in front of my TV as a constant reminder of my failure. So I could put it back together. But yeah, here it is. All back in the box. And just a giant testimonial of my failure. Another thing I regret. But like, look at this. Like they flap up and down, and there's all these gears and cranks and stuff. Like it like the head goes this way, that way. It's very, very technical. And this idiot, me, thought it was a good idea to go on their like super cool Lego channel, like my shit didn't sync, and be like, oh, I got this. I'm gonna put this big giant owl together from scratch when I haven't put a Lego set together in like 20 years. So
I said just put the core together.
I had like a little spider that was like 100 pieces, which I should have put together.
I told you to do it.
MTT. So yeah. Oh, I have a lot of Lego things. I just we don't really have the. I mean, I want to put the castle together, but that would take a real team and a bedroom in itself because that thing is ginormous. So
I'm going on vacation when you do that. Because I don't want to be
nowhere near. I'm gonna need to like hire some like the house elves from Hogwarts to help me put that shit together.
Yelling, kicking, throwing things, missing pieces. This.
Hey, videos. Hey, J Freak. Did I say everybody hi in the chat? Yeah, again, just spitballing. I really got nothing. I'm kind of interested in these questions that Dave's gonna ask me. He must sell out the gate with the first one. I mean, I can go through stories and see if there's anything interesting. Let's see here. Let's see. But then if music is on it, then I get zapped, so that's not fun. And I can't read the chat either. Nothing there. Nothing there. Oh. There he is. What's up, Dave?
How we doing? Can you hear me okay?
Look at all those Legos you got. So was that your latest set you just got there? Is that Hagrid's Hut?
Yeah, this is the one that Wendy sent me. And I have another one in my car that another fan of mine sent me. And then I have this one which is the bonsai tree. And then just the other day, I put together this Harry Potter one, which is what are the houses? The Gryffindor. This is Gryffindor.
Like the common room?
Yeah, like the common room of Gryffindor.
Oh, that's super cool. That's a Lego set? Oh, look at the
Yeah.
wall. Oh,
Yeah,
I
and it like hangs
that.
on the wall. You can get all 4 houses. So I only got the one. And it comes with his friends.
Are you a Gryffindor? Did you test into the house?
You know, I didn't do the hat when I was there to test and see where I ended up. But I feel like I might be a Slytherin. I don't know.
Well, I thought I'd be a Ravenclaw. And then I did it, you gotta do it through Pottermore. Like that's the official website. If you sort anywhere else, it's not official.
Well,
it's
I was
JK
doing it.
site.
I was doing it. I was going to do it at the Universal Studios because you could do it there.
Right.
And
but that line is too crazy. No.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly why I didn't.
Yeah.
And I'm not liking this
otherwise.
lighting setup. I feel like it's like the shadows are weird. I moved some lights around and I'm not a fan of it.
Oh, I have horrible lighting, so it might be me because I just constantly sit in the dark and it looks like I'm in Kramer's smoking room. So there's that.
I'm looking at I'm looking at the my video, and I just changed the lights around earlier today. It was daylight and it was like, yeah, this looks fine. But now that it's dark out, I don't get any window or lights through the window. What is your favorite part of the 8 hour of John trying to There's so many clips. Now I clipped a part after he just put his clothes back on and was getting still frustrated about not getting the owl done. That's what we put in the intro because I thought that was funny about John, having to strip off all of his clothes during the Lego build. But there were so many though to choose from. I literally had like 8 different things I had pulled out from both streams of John just getting frustrated and him flapping around like the half-built owl wing, and yeah, it was great. Just
and
every
then
time he got
reconnect. And that's what I
So this is the game. I was gifted to me. It's a Danish game. I'm not exactly. Oh, here are the rules. I was looking for the rules, and they're like printed on the inside of the cover, of course, right? So this is a game which is designed. Let's see. It's all about enjoying a nice, cozy time in good company. The focus means that there are no winners or losers. It's simply to it's Heige, which is apparently
no winners or losers, said by the same people that put that fucking owl together, by the way. Okay. No,
so
okay,
I'm gonna make this a game though, because each card has 3 questions. And so I'm just gonna pull a card at random, and then you're gonna say 1, 2, or 3 which question I'm gonna ask you. So I think that's the way that we'll do this. That one
does
question.
Anybody else want to come up and play? Anybody?
No one does. It's just you.
Oh, great. Okay. Super.
All right. So give me one. All right. Well, you could. I guess you can have the poll choose or the chat choose 1, 2, or 3.
I'll pick 2.
2. All right. What is the one key trait that makes successful people successful?
You're asking me?
Yeah, you have to answer
that. Drive.
If you don't know, just fake it.
No, drive. If you're driven to do something, then you'll make it happen. That's how I would honestly answer that.
I would say so. I feel like that's a good answer. Drive. Someone asked what my court channel is. MLS Making Law Simple. I don't know.
And by the way, this guy put together a Lego set and then undid it and then put it together in a different way and then undid it and then put it together in a different way 3 times while I was still trying to put one wing on this stupid owl. I
started building a second set on part 2 just so you didn't feel bad. I got like halfway through it. But I build Lego a lot. You can see I got like all these Lego. Now, I will say that you are not the first person not to finish. So
you're gonna also take that away from me too? Jesus Christ! I can't win the worst even.
You're the first. You're the first guest not to finish. But actually, there's this cube back here. I built that on a live stream and I failed to finish it during the stream, and then I just brought it home and built it. I was in Sweden at the time, but so that cube there I couldn't finish. It's really intricate. There's like Mario Brother game sets. On
No,
top. There's three of them.
I know it's for Mario, but like, you know, my heart was bleeding for you because, you know, you were in Sweden and you didn't have the time to put that together fast enough because you're in Sweden, and you know.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. The sun was rising and we were still going. And I heard people getting up in the house. They were like waking up from their lovely 8 hours, and I was still building. And I'm like, all right, you know what? We're done.
Are Legos cheaper? You know, I know Legos are based out of Denmark, but are they cheaper over there? Have you been to Denmark?
Oh yeah. I've been to Denmark. In fact, I bought the Lion King Simba set. My wife and I built together. I bought that in Denmark when I was there in August.
So do they just give away Lego sets? They're like, oh, welcome to Copenhagen.
Yeah,
Like, here's a Lego
they just
set.
throw them at you when you get off the airplane. But when I bought this set in Sweden, it was about 10 to 15% cheaper. You know, so it's not shocking, but it's significant enough, especially when you're buying Lego.
And they are money.
I had to leave some clothes behind so I could fit it in my suitcase and bring it home.
Wait, you actually put the half-built cube in your suitcase? You didn't like you didn't take it apart and then re-put it together?
I stuffed it, right? So I put small items of clothing, like I rolled up shirts and shoved it down inside, and which I thought was going to be fine. And then it turned out to be a horrible idea because I just ended up having to disassemble the entire thing again because so much broke in the suitcase.
That's why I knew if I didn't take the owl completely apart and try to start off at like some random like page, like I'm like, there's no way I'm going to know what I'm doing. So you just have to like,
yeah, you just got, and that's when I rebuilt this set here because I had built it on your first stream and then I like tore it apart and modified it when I wanted to rebuild it. Yeah, the little boat in the car and stuff. When I wanted to rebuild that, I had to take like every piece apart because I knew if I tried to like start somewhere in the middle, it would be a disaster. And then I was like, you know what? I'm not going to take it all apart. And then when I was rebuilding it, I was struggling trying to find pieces, and I realized I had them like stuck on parts they weren't supposed to be. And so you just got to just take it all back down and start over.
I'm pretty sure I'm missing a part, like a piece, and like that was like that piece was like kept me like for 20 minutes. I was going back and I couldn't find the piece. I'm gonna blame it on a piece that like is missing. But you know, now that we have like the index of the book, I'm gonna put them all in size and color order, and me and Cody are going to.
Don't drag me into this.
That's the way to do it.
Tear through the owl, and
now if you're in my chat and or your Valhalla, you'll call that cheating, but I don't think it's cheating. I think it's appropriate.
You guys were already like half done with your thing is like before like your intro stopped playing. What are you talking about? You're like, oh, you're like do. Oh, hi John. Do. Like it was half put together. I didn't have the box open yet. I'm like, oh, okay, you guys are already building.
I've got a lot of sets though to build, but you know, I build them a lot, and once you start building them a lot, there's like a rhyme to the madness, so you can kind of see things coming, I guess.
I mean, I did do this one successfully on my own. It's the Flying Ford Anglia from
That's cool. There you go.
Chamber of Secrets. This is what I should have built on your life. This took me 2 hours to do.
Were you in front of like TV playing 90 Day Fiance or something?
We were watching because I had all these Lego sets here, and like I'm like I didn't know if I should open them or not. But, like, you know, all my collectible stuff like are sitting in boxes, whether they're Happy Meal toys or 80s toys. It's like I have Care Bears and like in the sealed containers, Thundercats, He-Mans, and like I kind of just wanted to play with something. So I'm like, you know, if anything, Lego goes up in value. If I know, you know, as from being a toy collector. So I'm like, screw it. Let me just, you know, have a little fun instead of staring at the box and like wishing I could play with it, you know. So we decided to start opening things and playing with them, and you know, that's how I kind of got back on it. And then I saw like this Hedwig thing, and I wanted to impress y'all, and well, we saw how well that worked out. So there's that.
There's no harm in there's no shame in failing, right? You know, you actually came back and tried it again and did it again. And it was amazing content. At the end of the day, it was amazing content.
And I failed harder. the second time, and I thought, I'm like,
You
I got
did.
this. And I
You so
I
did.
started putting that back together, like, 2 hours before your stream started. I'm like, I got to get this third bag together because I'm not going to be dragging ass. And then the first night, I was up till like 4:30 in the morning, still trying to put bag 2 together. So I really did.
You're missing more than one piece, right? You're missing
Listen,
multiple
I don't.
pieces.
Probably not. I probably have extra, but I'm going to blame it on missing pieces because that's how I could sleep
Okay.
at night. So
But if you are, you're probably missing like a bag, or sometimes there's smaller bags inside the larger bags. You're missing a bag if you're missing more than one piece. That would be my guess. And if you are, you write to Lego and you say, "Hey, you guys sold me a bag with these missing pieces." They'll send them to you for free. You don't need to buy them.
that seems like a big rigmarole. Can't you just go to the Lego store? It's like the back wall and like just pluck them out.
But they might not have the piece you're looking for, so you're gonna end
That's
up buying.
also true.
Yeah, you're gonna end up going to the Lego website and ordering the pieces, but they'll charge you for them, and unless you say, "Hey, you guys sold me the set with missing pieces," then you get them for free.
That seems like a giant rigmarole. But I'll do it.
1, 2, or 3.
1.
What is the best party you've ever gone to?
Party I've ever gone to? Ooh. Cody, best party that we've ever gone to?
Don't look at me. I have my own answers.
Because I have like before Cody and after Cody, so it's hard.
He's
I've
not
been
gonna
with Cody
take
for-
offense. He's not
No,
gonna
I've been
take
with him for,
offense.
but I have to say, like, if you knew my ex, we didn't go to parties. So,
Oh, you want me to tell you? Oh, here. How about this? I'll tell you mine. It's with my current wife. We went to we'll say a workplace proximity associate of hers, house
a
for a Halloween
workplace
party.
proximity is like, so a coworker?
Yeah, coworker. But not. But yeah, I guess a coworker. But here's the thing. So he's gay and his husband is awesome. But we went to their house for a Halloween party.
So her
And
workplace proximity, you like the husband more.
I like the
than-
husband more than the
Okay.
workplace proximity associate.
Just like me and Cody. Everybody loves me more than Cody. That always happens. Go ahead.
But we're there,
That's
and
how I
it's an
remember
awesome
it.
costume party. And then we're down in they have this huge house that's was built in the 1920s, and they completely remodeled it, and beautiful home. And we're down in the parlor where there's a piano, and there's this one guy there, drunk off of his ass, telling me to play the piano. And I was like, yeah, I'd love to, but I don't know how. He's like, no, sit down and play the fucking piano. And then when I was like, I wish I could, I don't know what to tell you. Then he slapped me and called me a bitch and stormed off with his hands on his hip. Like, this is the best fucking party I've been to.
Please tell me like it was like a back slap, like knuckles.
Oh yeah. It was like,
oh, that's even better, man. You need that. It's like a
so we're in this really ornate home built in the 1920s. I'm in the front parlor. It's really ornate. Everyone's dressed up.
I mean, you
In
said
like
parlor, so if a house has a parlor, it is old and ornate. Yeah, go ahead.
right, and it's kind of like without the sex and the nudity, kind of like Eyes Wide Shut sort of scenes, like you're walking
With the
through.
mask.
Yeah, with the masks and everything, and this guy was just like, bitch, and just like walked away. Like, oh, this is awesome. So that's my party story.
I think the craziest, well, the funnest, I don't know. Dr. Jen's 4th of July.
Well, that was something.
That was a night. Okay, so I'm gonna have to go with that. So
We'll just
you
leave
follow
it.
90 Day a little bit, right? You know some of the people on the show.
I don't follow it enough to know their names. I mean, I don't know the names of most of my guests that I interview. So,
Well, Dr. Jen is she's an esthetician that gives Botox and like all that stuff to like a lot of cast members on all the shows I cover, whether it's Housewives or a lot of 90 Day people, but a lot of Housewives also. And those are my two worlds. So 4th of July, she had a party, and then Ashley Smith, who was with Jay, she invited us to come, and we slept over, and it was the day after my cat had died, and we're gonna make you like happy, and she put a spread on, and Dolores from Jersey was there, her niece was there, Ashley was there, Tracy was there, from the podcast. A lot of people were there. It was a lot of fun. The end. That was there was a good. It was it was a good night, I guess.
John, you're supposed to throw those keys away a long time ago. You can't dig those keys back up.
It was like we're not party people.
Not anymore.
I'm not either. I'm not a fan of people in general. And so I don't want to hang out with them, when it's my free time. No, that's not my go-to. But it is fun once in a while. Somebody asked me what time it is here. It is 10 p.m. here.
Yeah, it's the same time here.
Yeah, I'm in
We're in
Michigan.
Eastern.
Yep.
I gotta stop my camera because then my filter runs out, and then I get laggy like that. All right,
So take your
next
filter
question.
Next
I like
question. All right, well,
this.
1, 2, or 3, sir.
There you go.
I'm sorry. Which one? 1, 2, or 3?
Three. Trey.
Okay. Is it better to grow up in a large family or small family? Are you still with us, sir?
This is like a game, like where you move across the board and stuff like that. Do I have like a pen?
No, there's no
There's
there's no. It's just a card game. There's only cards. I haven't read the rules yet. I started pulling out the cards, and I was like, oh my god, Wendy, you need to get this for our Lego streams because some of these are awesome questions. And so I don't really know how the game is played, but there's no board.
I mean, I've always wanted a large family because I didn't have one. I mean, I had a sibling that I didn't grow up with, and I was pretty much an only child my whole life. So to anybody that had siblings, I was always kind of in awe of. But then I realized also in large families that you don't get as much attention as, the other kids do. So I don't know. I'd be good with 1 or 2 siblings. Maybe 3. You?
So I grew up very nuclear-ish. I have 2 brothers, and it was our parents and my brothers. We did a lot of stuff together. But then we had the extended family, which wasn't very big, and we had a couple of uncles on each side, and that was about it. Some cousins and stuff. And it was nice because our cousins were all like friends. Then my ex-wife, her family is gigantic. Well, her nuclear family there's only 3 of them. That was the same size. But her extended family, she'd go to family reunions and they'd have to wear name tags. They didn't even know each other. And so I feel
that's insane for me.
Yeah, I feel like it's better to be close where your cousins are more like friends when you're growing up rather than you don't even know who the hell they are. Then what's the point?
Yeah, I see these big giant family reunions, like what you just said, I mean, and granted, I say this with family, I have first cousins, if cousin Joe's in the chat, he's my first cousin. I've never met him before, but that's because my family is really weird, and my mother's side and my father's side are just 2 completely different entities. So, I really don't know anybody on my father's side.
That was actually, if you would guess number 1 on that card, it was, what's the biggest difference between your parents?
That's it.
Yeah.
My mom's side, we had 2 completely different sides, and I was raised with my mom's side. So I have a ton of first cousins that I've never even met before. They even look like me. I'm like, oh wow. But yeah, and Joe DeAngelis, he's my cousin. He's my first cousin, never met him. And he's in my chat all the time. And but that's because my mother's side and my father's side had a big rift, and it was, that's a next question. 1, 2, 3, 4, 10.
Do you have any Facebook friends that you would not enjoy spending time with?
My Facebook friends are I keep my Facebook under lock and key. So really my Facebook is just the people who I want to see updates on, not just people I graduated high school with. Just basically a friend that I've had. I don't really care much for seeing people on their vacations and the new yacht they just got. I don't know.
You have me blocked on Facebook?
No, I think I unblocked you.
I have two accounts. I have a private personal one, which has 20 friends, and it's mainly a photo album for the rest of my family and people that I actually want to get updates from. And then I have my public one, which has 6,000, and I'm considered now a
public figure,
content creator or something. I don't know on there.
Digital creator. I used to have a ton of followers on Facebook, but then I realized I have a ton of followers on IG, and YouTube and Twitter, and I needed like one social media platform that like was just like people I know and like people that weird people from the internet weren't going to judge me on, like that know me my whole life. So I got rid of everybody on Facebook, and I think I have 340 friends on Facebook.
That's a lot. That's too many for me. I always get nervous when I start creeping up towards like 80. I'm like, this is too many. And then I have like a purge day on my personal Facebook where I just start purging people. Like, I don't talk to this person. I don't care. I'm just purging them. And then I'll get like that call from my mom that, is, well, why aren't you friends with this person on Facebook? I don't want to be. I don't know.
Why did you block cousin Jimmy? What did he do to you?
Exactly. It's like, did you see this thing that so-and-so posted? I'm like, no, I'm not friends with them. So now I've taken to, if I unfriend them on my personal one, I make sure that I'm friends with them on my public one.
That's
So
a lot
then
of
I
work.
can go, be like, oh yeah, I saw that. It's sort of.
That's just too much work.
All right, 1, 2, or 3.
2.
If you could see into the future, how far
Oh, Lord.
ahead would you want to see? Not travel, just see into the future. How far ahead would you want to see?
Well, like that's a weird question because, like, I would like to see what's going on 1,000 years from now. I know I won't be in the picture anymore. And I'd be curious to see like what's going on 1,000 years from now, and even. But see, like, I would rather go to the past. Like, you're the wrong guy about
That's
the
not the
future.
question, counselor.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Repeat.
I said, okay, if you could see into the future, how far ahead would you want to see?
I don't think I'd want to.
See, I don't want to see like my failures in the future, or I'd be worried about that, or I don't want to see my death. So I think I'd have to go well past my life expectancy. And like you, I'm be like, all right, let me
That
go
was
see what's
my
going on in
original
1,000
answer that
years.
you just stole.
Yeah,
Hello.
no,
That's what I just
I'm
answered.
agreeing with you.
Yeah, all right, we're good on that one. What's number 1 on that one? Or was that
Number one is, if there was one rule in your house growing up that was extremely strict, what was it?
Shut the lights off. I always got yelled at for. I would leave the light on in every room, kitchen, bathroom. Like my thing, like Lilco was like the lighting company, like with Long Island lighting. So it was Lilco, and my grandma would always say to me, like, our last name's not Lilco. Shut the fucking lights off. That's really the only thing I disobeyed all the time. Still to this day, I go in a room and the light just stays on. But like I had it weird because my grandparents, my great grandmother, like I was kind of tossed around a lot, but
It's funny that rule stayed consistent no matter whose house you were in.
And then I would be at friends' houses, and then their parents would yell at me too. Like they would be like, "John, shut the light off." Like, I'm sorry.
MW is me has a good question in the chat. If you could go back to any year, John and Dave, which would it be?
Dave, I'll let you handle this one first, buddy.
You know what? I'm going to say 2020.
That's not a year that a lot of people like. Okay.
I loved that year. Well, remember earlier when I said I don't like people. So I had just started, I was about a year into my relationship with my my now wife. And we had gotten engaged in September of 2019. And then February, everything sort of went on lockdown. But with her job, she kept working, but she worked primarily remotely. She was considered a critical worker, but she didn't have like a stressful job. So she loved going in for a couple of hours. And then I stayed busy as hell because I was suing everybody left and right. That's when I sued the governor and stuff. So I was staying busy and making money. But we didn't have to go anywhere. We didn't have to talk to anybody. It was just like the two of us and the kids hanging around the house for like the entire year. It was absolutely amazing. We didn't have to deal with anything. There was like no obligations. It was amazing. And now with our work schedules, we have like between 8 p.m. and like 10 p.m. to hang out. My wife and I do. And we always say like, wouldn't it be great to go back to 2020? We need another lockdown, you know. So that's why I say 2020.
Okay, I've been trying to think and pay attention to what you were saying while I'm trying to give my answer of what year I would redo.
You meant in history? Oh, okay.
No, like in my life.
I wasn't clear in the question. MW is me.
Okay, I have to pick 2 years again. This college I went to, Geneseo, that I'm wearing right now, I was a very so 2003 would be the year I left Geneseo to transfer out because I hated being there. I should have stayed in Geneseo. That's where I always see like my sliding door. You ever see that movie Sliding Doors with Gwyneth Paltrow? You have
Yeah.
to have. That's
Mhm.
I always say like one of my sliding doors moments was if I had stayed in Geneseo, where my life would have been instead of transferring out of it. And then the other one would be probably 2020. More recently, it would probably be 2021 was a great year. I got my footing on YouTube. We were living amazing, like my stuff was going through the roof. Every YouTube live I did had like 10,000 followers. I was getting interviews and like I was the center of attention. And I would say I 2022 would be September of 2022 exactly. There was a day in that timeline, my other sliding doors moment, when I could have just shut up and I didn't. And I kind of ruined myself for like the last 2 years. So mostly present. So that would be the other year I would
Do you
change.
remember her hair from that movie?
Well, she had blonde hair and then she was a brunette.
Do you remember the blonde hair, the cut, the
Yeah.
style?
Well, wasn't it like a round kind of like
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
she had like the I love sliding doors. And anybody if you've
Here,
never seen
I
sliding
pulled it
doors.
up.
Oh, I got it. There it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the good Gwyneth.
Yes.
Right. And
So
then the
my
brunette Gwyneth was the bad one.
so what year did this movie come out? This movie came out
99, I want to say 98 or 99.
Okay. So my ex-wife decided in like 2004, so like 5 years late, that this was the hairstyle for her, and then she never changed it. It was always this hairstyle. So I can't watch this movie anymore because it's this freaking hairstyle that she had. She probably still has it. I haven't seen her in a while. But it was like I feel like at the time I was like, I feel like that hairstyle's a little dated. It's like 2005 now, and that was like that's an older movie. And then, so I can't watch it anymore because of that hairstyle. That's why I brought it up. I just thought every time someone talks about that movie, I think of this hair.
Yeah, I just think of all the times I could have gotten off and on that train, and like my life choice. That like that movie will fuck you up. It really will. Like watch Sliding Doors with Gwyneth Paltrow because like the road not taken, and you see like she opens the door, she goes through the door, and then she doesn't go through the door, and you see how her life changed as a result of like that one decision. It's a really good movie.
Yeah, no, it is a good movie. I just can't watch it anymore because of that whole thing, and it's weird. It's weird how sometimes you get like things happen, and all of a sudden you're like you can't do it anymore. You can't watch it anymore. Like I did a watermelon eating contest with my kids just for fun, and they tried so hard that they got sick off of watermelon, and for the next 10 years they wouldn't touch watermelon. It's just like weird things that get hung up in your head.
Well, I mean, the cantaloupe is the superior melon, I have to say.
I prefer the honeydew. I think
Really?
I think it's underrated. I really prefer the honeydew
And I'm
over
a cantaloupe person.
yeah.
And Cody loves the watermelon. Watermelon to me is just like it's like cotton candy. There's like nothing to it. Like I don't like watermelon. I mean, I'll eat it if it's there
It's
in
okay.
front of me. Yeah, but
Yeah. If it's there,
and the
but
honeydew.
cantaloupe is good, but I prefer honeydew. It's got a little bit like a honeyer taste. I don't know, it's a sweeter taste. I like it. So MW is me actually clarified her question and said she meant in history, like she would go back to the Henry VIII days. And
Or
yeah. So if There's an interesting video because my undergrad is actually in history.
We both,
History
you guys, fun fact about both of us that I learned on Dave's channel. We both were history teachers. We got the same degree. Went to school for the same thing, and both of us hated teaching. So go ahead.
yeah, but I love history. So, so it's interesting going back in history. My biggest hang up would be the language. Like you don't have to go that far back before you won't be able to understand or communicate with anybody. So I would like to go back to say the founding of this country. Um, I think that would be a good time. One, I can understand everybody. Two, I can kind of like hear what they were actually intending to do. And I like that time period. But I wouldn't go back much further because then the language barrier would be an issue. I think you'd have to learn old French, middle-aged French, in order to really communicate with anybody. And I don't want to do that.
I would. Well, you're not going to see this one coming. I'm curious to find out if the Romanovs were never executed in the Winter Palace, and if they got away, and what would have happened to the provisional Russian government.
So you want to go back and change history? Now that's different.
Well, yeah. I want them to be. I don't want. Well, undergrad. You know how you had to do your undergrad classes? Like most of my undergrad classes were in Russian history. I could not get enough Russian history. Like I just was so like infatuated with it. Like I loved Imperial Russia, Imperial Russia. You know, the Romanovs. So, but then like, you know, the Paris Commune was interesting.
Interesting about Nicholas was that he didn't want to be czar, and he was czar by accident too. But then once he got the position, he was so hard-headed, like it's gonna be absolute monarchy, even if I don't want it, it's going to be it. He really screwed himself. He had the opportunity to come in there and say, "Listen, I don't want to be czar. I'm an accidental czar," and hand over power. And he'd still, you know, the line would still be there, and it'd probably be all of the 20th century would be different. All of it.
Well, you know, he was worried about Alexei and you know, him with the hemophilia, and then Rasputin, and then you know, Alexandra like calling the line. We're probably
Rasputin wouldn't even have been an issue if he had gotten once he was crowned. If he was like, listen, I'm gonna create the Duma, and you guys are you're gonna elect a prime minister and do whatever, and just come to me when we need to, you know, call things into session or something. Rasputin would have been just a madman running around in the woods. He still would have been shot. He was. You know, I know he still would have ended up getting shot. That dude.
He was, but he always wanted to keep up with, like, you know, Europe, Western Europe, and you know, Russia was always kind of in the dark days until Catherine the Great, and then she kind of brought them back. But then, you know, whatever. But that's I'd be curious to see if the Romanovs were never executed, what would have happened next.
Yeah. Would the British, seeing how they were cousins, would they have fought harder during the Civil War for the whites, and would they have put pressure on the U.S. to fight a little bit harder? You know, because they were hanging out up in, you know, Finland and everything, and they were sort of doing some, but then at some point they're like, yeah, no, we're over this, and went home.
Alexandra, and again, I'm going back to like now, like grad school. She was a Prussian princess, a Prussian princess. That's a tough, you know. They all had ties to nobility everywhere. All of them were linked to nobility. The Romanovs were.
They were. And I, unfortunately, because of all the way the 20th century worked out, I can't go back to my ancestry home. My great-great-great-grandfather immigrated over from Kaliningrad, which is now an enclave just south of Estonia. It's now part of Russia, but it was Prussia at the time. And so it's just south of Estonia. And I could go there, but I don't want to be a political refugee or, you know, some sort of political pawn. I'm like, I'm not stepping foot in Russia right now, anytime soon, because, you know, I'm just some dumb American, but who knows who, you know, they're just going to pick up some dumb American.
But you could be like a duke there somehow and not even know it.
I could be. So, but yeah, Russian history is interesting. I love it. I got a couple of books on the last.
But like, did you get like, you know, when you were in college and like, you know, undergrad, and I kept taking Russian this, Russian that, and they're like, and then when you get to teaching, like you teach 0.00 Russian anything in high school. If like, maybe you touch on like, the world wars, but
Yeah.
all the stuff that I specialized in undergrad and mostly grad.
There was an uncomfortable
teach.
there was an uncomfortable emphasis on the Russian Revolution, which I was like, is that the part that we should be focusing on? The rise of the failed state of communism.
I like these questions. Let's keep going.
All right, 1, 2, or 3. Wait, hang on. Nope, I already did that one. I gotta get a new card. 1, 2, or 3.
You could just read the questions like in order and not even have to ask me. Okay, 2. Okay, but what?
All right. No. I'm gonna do that because I like this first one. Would you get a tattoo of your partner's name?
Yes.
So why haven't you yet?
Okay, Cody. Hold on, Cody. Oh wait.
By the way, if you guys want to see John take off his shirt and prance around, showing us his tramp stamp adjacent tattoo and everything else, check out the Lego stream. That's part 2.
I was very upset. Okay, read Cody's out here now. Reread the question.
Would you get a tattoo of your partner's name? And you said yes, and then I followed up with, well, why haven't you?
Because Cody's name isn't Cody. So, like, this is tricky. I would, because I know I'm going to be with him forever, and I would absolutely do it. But his first name's Greg. So in a sense, I would be tattooing like his, like when we met each other, he was introduced to me as Cody. And I thought that was his name for like 3 months. And then it wasn't until like we were already hooking up and he had his wallet on the ground. And I looked at his license because he always told me like, Cody was his middle name because it was C. And I'm like, Greg Clifford Yates. And I'm like, where's the Cody? He's like, okay, I probably should have told you this, but that's like not my name at all. But I've always, I mean, to this day, like he is Cody. I only call him Greg when I want to be a dick.
You can still get Cody.
But it's not his name. Like, our wedding invitations were a nightmare because like I had to put like, John Michael DeAngelis and Greg and we had to put Cody in quotation marks, Yates, because everybody knew him as Cody. All my friends knew him as Cody. All his friends knew him as Cody, but that wasn't his name. So, I mean, I would absolutely get his name tattooed on me. But then if I put Greg on there, then people are like, who the fuck is Greg? And like, why do you tattoo this weird guy's name on you? And then, but if Cody's not his name, so like that's my issue.
All right, so that's a plausible reason not to get it. All right, fair enough. Wendy asks if I would get my wife's name tattooed on myself. No, because I find words or names kind of tacky, but we do have a plan of us getting matching trident tattoos. So that's the plan.
Oh,
no. We're gonna get
Cody is not tattooed at all. Like I have tattoos, he does not. So he he has no piercings, no tattoos. He could be buried in a Jewish cemetery, no problem. So there's that. He's not Jewish. I'm just saying, like they have rules there, and he would abide by all of them. Go ahead.
So I think I know the answer to this one just looking at your background. But do you prefer white walls, painted walls, or wallpaper in your home?
So funny. We were talking about wallpaper last night. That's so crazy that you just said that. I prefer, okay, so Italians are like known for like white walls and no color and nothing. Like most of our walls are white. We have like, that's an accent color there, and it's beige because that's as feisty as I'll get on a wall paint. I like a good accent wall to like make the room pop. And if it's like a kitchen, I don't mind some wallpaper, or like maybe a bathroom. I don't mind wallpaper. But do people even wallpaper anymore? Is that still a thing? I don't even know.
I don't know.
It's like wood paneling. Like, would you have wood paneling?
Okay, so here's the thing. I don't have wood paneling, but I have like an entire wall that's wooden shelves and like stuff is stuffed in them. So I feel like that's woodish. And then depending on what I got going on,
Valhalla.
but see, like I have a Star Wars room, so like I have a room that's painted like accent walls are dark gray and made to look like metal insides of starships and stuff. So I have weird decorating things going on in my house.
And like
Valhalla,
okay, like and we're the same age. Also, we both went to the same. We got the same degree in college, and we're both like the same age, so we have a lot in common. But like, remember, like back in the day, like everyone's basement was like just full wall to wall wood paneling. Like that's
oh
where we
yeah,
grew up. Everyone, and like mostly all my friends' houses had wood paneling. In their living room. And like I wouldn't mind, like I kind of miss it a little bit. Not that I would want like my whole living because it makes
more
it much
for
darker.
nostalgia than for the style, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't mind like a little wood paneling, like accent wall. Like I will say this: when me and Cody first met, you ever watched the movie 500 Days of Summer?
I don't think
It's
I
got
have, no.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt, the guy, whatever. Anyway, like he had in that movie, he had a wall that was chalkboard, and he used to
Oh,
write
yeah.
on it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I stole his idea, and in like one of our first bedrooms, we painted our whole wall chalkboard, and there was a giant room. And one giant, and it's weird having like one big black wall. But I
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
My kid, my I don't think my son did, but my daughter painted the chalkboard wall in her room when we first moved here.
Did
She
you
liked
have
that.
fun
She did all of it.
repainting it? Because that was a nightmare to get rid of it.
I made her do it, and then she decided she wanted to like spray paint her walls, like so she did like graffiti on her walls, and I was like, okay, fine, but you're painting over it, and so now it's all white again. Now she painted over everything, but
Yeah, I couldn't do the graffiti part, but the chalkboard I was okay with. And accent wall I'm good with, like, and like I'm okay with wallpaper. Did you have like the runners, like even
oh
if you
yeah,
didn't have wallpaper, like with the
yep.
ducks, like in my dining room, my grandma had ducks
The
everywhere on
ducks,
top, the
the
runner.
ducks. I think we had ducks. I think we had
Everyone
ducks. I remember in the 80s we had this green like runner up at the ceiling.
with the purple
Green.
ducks.
No, not that was before the ducks, but it had these little yellow flowers. Like it was this dark, rich green, but it was like I don't know, it was kind of like this green here. It was like a true green. It wasn't like a dark green. It was like this color green, and it had these bright yellow flowers all throughout, and that went around the whole house. And then we replaced that with this beigeish color with a dark green pattern, and then the ducks. And I remember that too.
You have wall carpeting? I
thing.
did. Like,
Wall-
back like when hardwood floors like were not a thing, like your whole house
Oh,
had
yeah.
to be carpeted.
There's only one room, the family room in our house, which was off the back. My dad built with hardwood floors, and this was actually it was rough sawn pine walls. So the walls are still rough sawn pine, which is probably out of date, but I still like it. It's still it's still home. But that room had like hardwood floor and the wood paneling, but everything else was like white with the trim and wall to wall carpeting.
That's great. I love
Valhalla
this.
music.
This is like a
Yeah.
memory lane. Like we were just talking about wallpaper last night because I was like Cody had found a picture of me in my confirmation, and I'm like, back in the night, I got confirmed. It was like 90. I was in 7th grade. It was like 92. And then my grandmother had to be so bougie, and she was the vice president of the USTA, so like she had to be like as bougie as possible. And we had an all white living room, white carpet, white couches, like
Oh.
it was. And for
The
my
kids don't go in that room, right?
No. And like, the vacuum lines had to be on there, and you always had to see the vacuum lines. Like if I walked on the carpet, I'd get in trouble and have to vacuum my line and get the lines. So we had a big confirmation party for me at the house, and with the white living room, and my cousin Joe, because he found a picture of it, and was eating spaghetti and meatballs on the white couch, and then he dropped it on the couch. The meatballs were rolling across the white fucking carpet. My grandmother and she had 25 fucking strokes. It was
I have family like that.
Never had white again.
my parents were never like that. When we moved out and my dog that I left behind finally died, then they like cleaned out, they like redid all the carpet and painted everything, and they put in white carpet. And they're like, "Well, everybody's gone. We can put in white carpet now." It's like that's just a bad idea because they have a bunch of people over for parties. And so when they first got it, my dad was always like, it's got to be vacuumed just so, and it's got to be clean.
Them lines.
You take your shoes off, and now people just like drop food all over it, and it lasted like a year before everyone was just like trashing it. You can't have white carpet throughout your entire house. You have to have that special room. But that was big in the
No,
80s.
and I mean, my grandmother pulled it off. It wasn't until my confirmation that and one person ruined the whole thing. She's like, and
When I moved into this house, we had a front room with white carpet. And when I got married and my wife moved in, she was like, that white carpet's got to go because I'm not cleaning that. Put in hardwood floors. So I spent, that summer putting in hardwood floors before the wedding because I'm not cleaning that white carpet.
I grew up with carpet. Our house now is tile. I try to cover it as much as I can, with the big giant Walmart carpets that you get and whatever. But I love carpet. And I love white, but I know I'm a mess myself. Like as I drink red wine and smoke cigarettes on this live, white carpet wouldn't be, it wouldn't last too long here. But
we have carpet in the family room, the main room where everyone hangs out, and then we have carpet going up the steps, in the hallways, and in the bedrooms. And then we have like in our basement, we turned into a master suite. So we have carpet down there, but so 3 rooms are all hardwood and everything else is carpeted. And I like that. You have you have variety. Wendy. All right. So
Wendy, why don't you come up and answer some questions, Wendy or Val? Come on.
She texted me, says she doesn't have makeup on, so she's not coming on.
You don't. Look, here's the problem. It's fixed. Look, there you go. You don't need makeup.
She doesn't know how to do an avatar. She hasn't done the avatar yet. She can't figure it out.
Okay, Wendy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. White from ceiling to floor would be her dream home. Oh, that would be so annoying. That would be so annoying. I wouldn't want to walk through it.
Yes.
All right. Do you have any recurring themes in your dreams or any recurring dreams?
Oh, doesn't everybody that? You're trying to run from somebody, but you're running in slow motion. I get that all the time. Or that that you're dreaming and you can't wake yourself out from it. That's the one I get.
You have sleep paralysis.
Nightly. Is that what that is? Is there
that's
a
sleep
term
paralysis?
For it?
Yeah. So it's actually I have that too. And when you are extremely stressed, that's usually when it's an onset. When you're extremely stressed, and I would say that most of the times you have it, it's hard for you to go to sleep that night, and then you have it. And so what it actually is whatever the chemical your brain releases to make you sleep or to put you into that REM cycle, your body is still in its effects. So you're literally paralyzed, but your mind is awake. And it's the freakiest thing because you can't wake up. And
I get that 5 nights a week.
Yeah, that's stress. Yeah. That's stress induced, sir. You just
And I've always had horrible sleeping issues. I've been taking Tylenol PM every since I've been 18. I can't fall asleep naturally. I need assistance and but yeah, my ongoing thing is that I know I'm dreaming, and you try to kick your leg and you try to move your arm and I'm Cody, I'm screaming Cody, but it's I'm sleeping, so he doesn't hear me.
Yeah, there's no sound, and you're just you can hear people talking. I've done it when I've fallen asleep on the couch, and my wife and kids are walking around and stuff, and I hear them, and I'm just sitting there, and I feel like I'm doing a power up. I'm trying to muscle all of my energy just to jerk enough so that I wake myself up, and eventually I'll get there. But it is freaky because you can't move. You're literally paralyzed.
If you could just kick your leg over just enough, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Just-
Oh, this has been very helpful. Like, I'm so happy I did this live. I thought it was just me.
The other thing is, I've done that before where I like jerk myself awake, and then I know I have to stand up, because if I don't stand up, if I just like, all right, I'm awake now, I can move, but I
Then
don't
you go
actually
right
get up.
back into the same dream.
Yes.
Bingo.
Yes. So stand yourself up once you do that. Stand,
like,
get up
I
out
was
of bed
gonna
or
say,
whatever.
oh my God, like, this is insane, because I'll even, like, you know, I'll stand up, I'll smoke a cigarette, I'll try, like, watch TV. I'm like, recycle your mind, John, get out of this, because you
Yep.
keep going back to the same fucking nightmare. I've even
Yes.
gone live. I keep saying, I've gone live. I'm like, I've had the same nightmare over and over again. So I'm going live to get out of my memory. That's yeah.
Yeah, get up and do something, like walk around, just do something. Don't lay back down. For me, it's got to be like, I can't lay back down for, or sit down or whatever for like at least an hour or so. I got to like keep moving, because if I just sit back down, then I'm ready to do it again.
Yeah, I'll have to switch rooms, like put the TV on, like, because your brain keeps going. That's so I'm like so happy I'm not the only person that this
So, but
happens to.
I've looked into it a lot. There's like no medication or anything that can help you with it.
Of course
But
there
if
isn't.
you do, if you're like having a hard time sleeping, you're probably going to get it on, and it's like 98% stress induced. So you got to somehow work on the stress. And that's what I
Well,
realized. Like, because I run my own business, and that can be stressful at times. So when those stressors are there, that's when it happens. You know, things like that. So, but yeah, it's fun. It's fun being absolutely paralyzed and freaked out because you can't move. But once I actually did the research, look into it, then I felt a little bit more comfortable with it. Then I'm like, okay, I know what this is.
but then do
I'm
you
not
start seeing
dying.
things in the dark?
Oh yeah.
Like, do you
Yep.
start seeing things
You see
move? Okay.
demons. Yep. You
Yes!
see demons. Yes.
Like,
Yep.
I can't sleep by the door. Like, you know, like whatever bedroom, hotel room, like whatever, like I need to be furthest from the door. So like in
Yeah.
my bed, you know, when we walk into my bedroom, like Cody sleeps on the door side, I sleep on the other side. I can't be by the door at all, no matter where I am. Like I just can't. Because I start seeing shit. And that's also why I can't sleep in the, like, I need to have a TV on. Like I can't go to sleep in just the dark. Okay, lights out. No.
So this is
I
the thing. So in, I don't know what year it was, years ago, like 20 years ago, I was trying to quit smoking, and so my doctor prescribed me some sort of antidepressant. Remember when antidepressants were big for quitting smoking?
Well, I was on
it's
Wellbutrin for it. Was it Wellbutrin? Because that's what I tried.
probably something like that. And so I started taking it, and then I went up to deer camp, and we do deer camp way out in the middle. Like there's nobody around but the 5 of us. And it was just after my grandfather died. And so like you combine an antidepressant with quitting smoking in the middle of nowhere, pitch dark and quiet, right after your grandfather died. And I started having like really bad thoughts about things. And it's like it had the opposite effect, the antidepressant, on me. And so ever since then, I cannot sleep when it's quiet. I could sleep in the dark. That's not a problem. But when it's quiet. So I ended up taking my phone and turning on like YouTube or something. And I just sit it right by my ear so it doesn't bother my wife. That's how I have to freaking sleep. And yeah. So
No, I get it. Like, oh my God. Are
thing.
you like my brother too? Like, are we twins that got separated? Like, this is insane. Like that, like I thought I was Cody thinks I'm crazy because, like, you know, I'll jump up and I'll see something and I'm like, I'll scream. And he's like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, "You didn't see, you know, like it's you know, or do you sense stuff in the dark? Because I do too.
I don't know if I sense
Like
what do you mean?
I'll get like a chill, or like one of my ears will like have no sound for some reason. Like I
It's usually when people are talking about me on YouTube, I get that sensation.
I wish I could go deaf when people are talking about me on YouTube. That would be perfect.
So no, that's good. The more you know, I suppose.
Right? If I had the
Someone left in
graphic,
your
I think
chat.
I do have the graphic. Hold on. I might have it. MTT, didn't you make me a the more you know graphic? I think I have it here somewhere.
Oh, I use it for well, I'm not on my stream yet, I'm on yours.
Let me see here. I got this from remember this?
Is there anyone out there who still isn't clear about what doing drugs does? Okay, last time. This is your brain. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
I'm gonna
How
send you.
serious he was.
I know. I'm gonna send you a clip. I have it broken down. What email did you email me at? Because you and I were emailing. I can't remember.
JohnYates327@gmail.
All right. Well, I can't do it right now. I'm going to drop you a video. I'm gonna send you a video, and it's just the more you know. It's the star going across.
That's what I need. Like like
Yep.
after you watch like a Reading Rainbow, like that would butterfly in the
Yeah.
sky.
I'll send you that. Yeah, I'll send you that. All right. Next question: are school uniforms good or a bad idea?
Okay, you're talking to someone who went to Catholic school their whole life, pretty much. So, at first, I don't know. I didn't mind uniforms. It was actually it took the drama out of like trying to, and then like I can't see public schools doing school uniforms because that would probably never work. But I'm also, as a teacher and a student on both sides of it, like I'm not against it. But I mean, no, I'm cool with school uniforms. Yeah, I'm good with it. I mean, for like private school, for public
Yeah.
school, unless it's like and Lord knows how kids dress now. Like I haven't been in that setting in quite a while now. But for private schools, I'm great with uniforms, and for public schools, people want to. I'm good with. How do you feel about it? Like I don't know. I went to Catholic grammar school. I went to Catholic high school for 9th grade. Then I switched out because I couldn't take it. It was an all boys school. I hated it. You would think I would have loved it, but I hated it. Then I went to Catholic, undergrad and Catholic grad, which obviously you don't wear uniforms in college. But I'm fine with uniforms. And like then we got like a day a month where it was called a nut card. No uniform today. Wow. I can't. Hi, 1993. Welcome back.
Nut card.
And then we would get to wear our regular clothes, like where else was in their uniform. Be like, I don't know. I'm good with uniforms.
I'm gonna have to. I put it at the end of all of my. I did these little segments called "The More You Know" on a show that I was doing called "Barely Interesting." And so we'd have these little segments from after this prosecutor would do just the stupidest things. And then so I would play The More You Know. Oh, I know where it is. It's on my phone. That's how I'll send it to you. It's on my phone because I was like, I can't find it. But as far as school uniforms, I think there's some benefits to it. I think one of the biggest benefits is that there's no like competition. There's also no gang colors. Like school uniforms in public schools in Detroit are really good because there's
Right,
some
I'm
gangs
from
within
Long
Detroit.
Island, where
Yeah.
we didn't have to. That wasn't it wasn't like I went to school in Detroit.
Right.
can
So depending on the
understand-
context, it would be good.
I can
I think
understand
they're
in
good.
public schools there, nobody wants you throwing up blood or whatever. I don't know. But I was lucky enough to not grow up in. I was from New York City. I lived my first 7 or 8 years in New York City, but I kind of grew up in the suburbs.
You know that thing we used to do with fortune cookies. You'd always put in bed after you read your fortune cookie.
Yeah.
So I'm like, some of these would be good if we put like in bed after it. So his school uniforms are a good or a bad idea in bed, that kind of thing.
Well, they're better in bed, I would say. I mean,
Yes, I
hey,
would say.
everyone likes a uniform. Hello. I'm saying.
What expensive activity would you like to try to do if you could afford it?
Yachting.
Yachting? Yachting is more affordable than you think.
Really?
I mean, when you say yachting, would you want like 100-foot yacht?
So I
or you
want to
just
go
wanna
on
be-
below deck and like be and charter that boat for like 2
okay.
weeks and like that type of yachting. That's what I want to
Okay,
do.
all right, yeah, that's a little bit more expensive. Yeah, there's actually a channel. This guy, he was like 20, and he bought just this piece of crap boat and just sort of fixed it up and he created a whole channel about it. And then he sold it, and then with the proceeds, bought a bigger boat that was needed some work done to it, and then sold that and bought a bigger boat. Now he's driving around a 80-foot yacht, and he just basically kept trading up. And his channel is only like 4 years old. So in 4 years, he went from like a 21-foot power boat to now an 80-foot power boat. So
Okay, well, that's
definitely.
so. Did
Okay.
he get the money to make the boat bigger from his YouTube channel? Like, how did
He
he?
would he would spend time fixing up the boat. He worked like when he needed cash that he couldn't get from YouTube, he would just work at a marina or something a little bit. It doesn't sound like he worked very much. And then he would fix up the boat with minimal out-of-pocket expense, film his travels, and then he would
But
sell
you
it, and
okay?
he'd
Okay.
buy a
Okay.
bigger boat. He'd buy a bigger boat for the same price he just sold his smaller boat for. That's but it needed a little work. So then he'd work on it a bit and then sell it, and that's his whole thing.
Okay, you've seen how mechanical I am trying to put that Lego set together. Do you think
Fair enough.
I'm in the ballpark of doing any of that?
Have Cody do the work for you.
No, like it took me one time. It took me 4 hours to put together a Target DVD rack that held like 40 fucking DVDs, and I was so proud of it. It took me 4 hours to put together a fucking DVD rack, but I did it. I am the least mechanical person in the world. I am horrible putting shit together, as you can see.
I have another channel. I don't really advertise much. It's my woodworking and sailing channel. And somebody on there recommended Below Deck. And I had never heard of it, but they were like, oh, it's a great show and it follows these people on the water and stuff. And I've watched a ton of YouTubers that are actually sailing and actually doing stuff. And so I checked out Below Deck and I'm like, oh my God, this is like the least realistic thing. This is just a reality show with the location changed. But it is entertaining. What's that?
The crew of the show, but like, yeah, like I don't know, like I have never been that close to the upper echelon where I could even, I do see people out on party boats and having fun on boats, but and that would be something I would like to do if I had more money. Just be on a boat and eat like caviar, which I've never had, and I'd probably hate it. But eat caviar and all that. Like, yeah, I would probably. I had a roe before, like, oh, that's like caviar. I'm like, not impressed. But I'm very simple. Like, I really, Let's
Wendy,
go. Next question.
Well, hang on. I got to shout out to Wendy. Wendy, people are taking notice of that other stream we were talking about earlier. That's all I'm going to say. I'm getting messages. All right. So what
Wait,
do
what
you
other
do?
stream did you do? Wait, what other stream?
No, we didn't do it. We were talking about someone else that was doing a stream that was fairly similar to our Lego stream. All of a sudden.
Oh, like someone's like robbing you, like
yeah. But what is it? Mimicking is the sincerest form of flattery, or whatever.
Until it gets really annoying, and like then you gotta pull rank. So
but our show is better because we actually interview people, and and we're not just sitting there like, look at me while I build Legos. No,
I didn't think it would be like, I thought we were like, and I loved being on your channel, and I can't wait to be on it again with a much simpler set. But I had no idea like that you would be like, and then everybody would be rallying questions off to me specifically, and I'm like, wait, I'm trying to get this piece, but I loved it. I loved every second of it. I'm just sorry that I didn't finish it, but we'll get there.
Called so the person who's messaging me is saying like copycats. Yeah. So okay, next question. What do you do different from most people? Everything.
Think. Look, I've always marched to the beat of my own drummer, and Like I always felt like I had something to prove to everybody. You know, didn't grow up with parents. Then I wound up being gay. Then I was like this big in like, you know, school. So my whole life I've been trying to figure out ways to be normal, but not normal, be a little bit better than normal. So I think like just differently from everybody else. That's hands to God, like honest answer. Like I think I because there are a lot of and it takes a lot to be my friend, and thank everybody. And you know, I'm not easy. I'm not an easy person to be around. Sometimes my husband should get the Nobel Prize for like, you know, best husband award because but yeah, thinking because I'm always trying to figure out.
So the answer is everything, right? You like do everything different than most people.
No, because I don't. But I think that I think differently than most people.
Okay, that works.
My
But, you
my
know,
rationale, like my logic, like that's what I would say. It would be different than most.
the I think I no, I like that answer. I was given I was on another stream on what day was it? Thursday. We were talking about the 20% of bees. You know the story about 20% of bees don't fly to where the pollen is?
I don't know about that story.
So scientists realized like a number of years ago that about 20% of the bee population doesn't fly to where all the flowers are with the rest of the 80% of the bees and then bring the pollen back and do all this stuff. And they were trying to figure out why. What's up with these 20% of these bees? They're just sort of luffing off and doing their own thing. But they're necessary because once that field runs out of pollen, the bees need another place to go. And where are they going to go? Well, the other 20% have been just running around doing something different and found another field or found another source of pollen. And so those 20% of the people that do the different thing are important in that bee population. And it's the same with people. You need at least 20% of people doing, you know, things outside the norm. So we are necessary for society to go on.
I got tested in college, and I really don't remember like the test, and I hope that you might remember it or anyone in chat. We got posed a question. I think it was in philosophy, probably undergrad or whatever, and you know, core classes that you had to fucking take. Philosophy, worst class ever. But like, you know, they posed it to you as like, you know, again, this is going back to like 2002, so it's been a while. But you're a tree and your roots are planted. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
And
But keep going.
Everybody in the class had to answer like how they would either improve the tree or the roots or whatever. And I was the one kid in the class, like, you know, college size classes. It wasn't like a lecture hall, like 30 people maybe. And I was the only one who answered like that type of way, like the 20%. Like, you know, I was that kid who thought, well, why do you need the roots? Why do you need the tree? Like, you know, you could do it this way. And I went like around it. And God, I need to like
you're in the 20%er. See, you're thinking outside the box.
And he's like, you know, and he's like, you know, you're the one to look out for. And I'm like, oh well, thank you, professor. Give me that A, and I did. But it's fine. I got all A's. But it was something about tree and roots, and I wish that I knew the story. I wish I could remember it.
Do you want to do the trolley story? You're talking philosophy.
Okay. Let's do the trolley story. What, that there's 5 strangers or one person that you know, and who do you save? That one?
Well, yeah, that's a variation of it. Or that's a variation. So there's a trolley going down the tracks, and if you don't do anything, it's going to run over 5 people and kill them. But you can make a choice to switch the tracks, and in that situation, it's only going to kill 1 person. Now you can do nothing, and 5 people will die, or you can intentionally kill 1 person. And then they change it up after all the students give the answer. their answer, and then they change it up to that one person is like your brother or your mom or something. And then now what do? Do you leave it alone and intentionally, run down 5 people? The trolley problem, that's what it's called.
Yeah, how
So
that was
John, what would
posed
you
to
do?
me.
So it's a string. They're all strangers. There's 6 strangers. All right. You do nothing, 5 will die. If you switch the track, 1 stranger will die. What do you do?
Well, how it was always posed to me was like, there's 5 people at the end of the line, and you could switch a track, but then there's 1 person that you know. So who do you get rid of? The 1 person that you know, or the 5 strangers that don't mean anything to you?
It's tougher when it's a loved one though, rather than just someone you know. Because I know a lot of people that I don't really care about.
No, it's usually geared towards like someone you care about, right?
Yeah.
That's tough.
It's a tough
Man.
question. And then is it morally justified? Is sort of the follow up. Whatever your decision is can you justify it morally?
I would save the person that I know.
Yeah. I would
I
always
don't
too.
know these
And
5.
then,
I don't know these 5 people. They could all be murderers, but I know
right.
this person, and I save them.
And when you come to the moral justification, I always just said, I don't give a fuck. I don't care about morality at that point. I'm saving my mom or whatever, the person that.
Well, I mean, you could put like a little Star Trek twist on this if you want, and go Spock versus Kirk. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one, right?
Yeah. The person
You
on
like
the
Star
trolley. Well,
Trek?
it's an unmanned trolley. It's just going down the tracks. You're standing there and you have a switch you can operate. You're not on the trolley.
Well, the people on the trolley are just going to watch a bloodbath either way.
Yeah.
So it's not the people on the trolley that you're worried about. It's the people that you're going to run over on the trolley.
Yeah. I pick my one person, Wendy. Wendy's my
pick the
stalker,
one.
and now I'm really concerned. All right, let me ask you this: if the majority of the presidents in history and the majority of the CEOs of big companies were women, how would the world be different?
Oh. I honestly couldn't answer it. I don't know.
I mean, okay, so you're telling me after watching the Kardashians and Housewives and all of that, you don't know how the world would be different? I feel like there'd be more.
You are giving me examples of just horrible people on TV, so it's probably not the avenue you want to go down with trying to exemplify that to me. But all I can say is that being gay, all my our bridal party was 12 women. We didn't have any ushers. All my best friends in my life have always been women. So
all the women in the chat, by the way, are saying, "Oh, it'd be so
90.
peaceful."
Well, and I think other than me and you, we're probably the only 2 men here. If Valhalla is still here, but I could show you schematics of my Instagram. 99% of people that follow me are women. So
we could take a real world example, and I'm probably going to make a lot of enemies with your chat, but no. So here's a real world example, right? And you look to, and this is Bill Burr. This isn't even me, but Bill Burr did a whole stand up thing about this. So I'm going to give him the credit. But if you look to why, the WNBA wanted more money, for their players, but they don't have the audience for it. And if you ask most women, they don't know who the players are. They don't watch the games, but they'll happily watch, a bunch of women tearing themselves down on reality TV shows because that's what women like. That's what they want to watch. They want to watch a bunch of women fighting and screaming at each other and calling each other names rather than a group of women coming together for a common goal and achieving that goal. So
I can weigh in on this though, because listen. Okay, so my sport's always been tennis. My grandmother was I played college ball. I played NCAA. I was in tournaments my whole life, and you watch the U.S. Open or Wimbledon or the French Open or Australia. And the men and the women get equal prize money now, and the women's coverage of tennis gets the same, if not more. Because I've always found what in tennis, at least, and I know tennis is not everybody's bread and butter, but growing up in a tennis household, I always found the women more fun to watch than the men because the women have the long rallies and the women put the shots out there. with the WNBA, that came on after. It was like, men's basketball had a thing. So, why shouldn't women? And to that point, yeah, women should have their own basketball league. But it's like, would you, if the NFL started the WNFL with just women football players, or like,
I think they have that in Australia. They run around in bras and play football.
Well, that's not really the same as it is here, though, right?
No, yeah.
I think that
but my point is that there's a larger audience for the Real Housewives and for the Kardashians in general, as opposed to the WNBA or even women's tennis, which probably gets a bigger market, I believe. I think you're right there. Or let's just say clearly women's beach volleyball has a bigger market than men's beach volleyball, right? Like more people are watching the women.
Well, I mean, honestly,
but
like,
it's still
the Olympics just happened. Like, who got more excited over watching the women? I did. Like, I watched the women's gymnastics, like, over the men's. I thought that was way more interesting than the men's gymnastics. I did.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm just saying,
women, help me out here. Like,
general population, more. The reason why the Kardashians make way more money than WNBA players, for example, is because way more people are watching the Kardashians than are watching WNBA.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah, absolutely.
So I just think, and the reason for that is women like the cat fighting, and I think they get into it a little bit more. Not all women, obviously, there's always outliers, but I feel
I
like
think like with the the WNBA, like specifically because they're really the only like offshoot, of like, there is no Major League Baseball with women's unless you're going to a league of their own, right? Like that doesn't exist. There is with football that doesn't exist. Soccer, there's a good showing for women there. I think but this country really doesn't care for soccer, so there's that. I mean, I know there are people that care about soccer, but
everyone likes soccer when they're 8.
Yeah, so it's hard because the WNBA is really the only major league team that is predominantly all women, but you don't see that in football and baseball and hockey. Where all the other professional sports are.
There's nothing preventing women from playing in the NFL, by the way. And there was one team about maybe not even 10 years ago, that actually had a female kicker, and I thought that was awesome. And she did good until she got an injury. I can't remember the team or what year it was, but so there's nothing against it. Although you wouldn't want like a female linebacker. That might be some.
One of my best friends in high school, and I graduated in 97. Okay, she was the first girl on the West Hempstead High School football team. Girl football player, 96. Susie Herschel. Look her up. Google her. She was the first female football player in all of Nassau County. It was a big thing, and she was awesome. But I think I keep saying it's wrong. The WNBA gets so much because they're really out on their own. There aren't other women professional sports franchises outside of that, and I mean it has to be tough to be like is Cheryl Swoops one of them? Like that's a name, right? Or Caitlin Clark.
Okay, I don't know a single player's name, but to be fair, I know like 2 male players' names in all of male-dominated sports. So
yeah, and like
I'm not a sports guy.
If you want to talk to me about tennis, I know everything. And like my grandfather watched football every Sunday. I watched it. I watched baseball, but how do we even get here?
I don't know. All right, here's the next question though. If you won the lottery, what would you do?
I would plan my funeral because I know I die the next day. So that's an easy answer.
You're not a glass half full kind of guy, are you?
Oh no, I'm the eternal pessimist, and that would absolutely happen. If I won the lottery, I would be talking to the cremator, the mortician, everything the next day because I know that I'd be lowered Maybe put myself on ice like Walt Disney, but yeah. What would I do? I would have fun, but I wouldn't last one day with it. So yeah,
It doesn't
that's my
say
answer.
it doesn't say how much you win, but we're just going to assume it's enough like you wouldn't have to work for the rest of your life, right? Okay, so this question is I'm going to ask Wendy in the chat because she
Uh-oh.
refuses to
So
come on
Wendy,
stream.
this is to you.
You need to answer this one, Wendy, before anyone else does. Do you find love or does love find you? I need the answer to that, Wendy. It's a perfect question for her. If you guys don't know, Wendy's been married like a dozen times. And she has
Way to blow up her spot.
So I want to know, do you find love or does love find you, Wendy? Love finds me, she says. All right, love finds me. John, for you, does love find you or do you find love? I say there's a man. There's never a man that woman or that Wendy met that she didn't immediately fall in love with.
Because when I met Cody, I never, he was my waiter at a restaurant. Never thought that, in a million. And I was saying, the stuff you're hitting on tonight is, I feel like you're in my head because me and Cody had this long conversation last night, and like I was telling, like I'd only met, I've only been with 4 guys, and 3 of the 4 I met online. Like back, my first one was on a BB. Remember BBSs? Remember
BBS?
like bulletin boards? Bulletin
Oh
board
yeah,
service?
yeah.
Like back in 95, like I played Telearena, like that shit. Like I met each one of my boyfriends online. Cody was the only one that I never met on a computer, that we just bumped into each other. And
so this is my story. So I got married fairly young. I was 24. And I had been dating my ex-wife for probably a couple of years at that point. So and when I got divorced, I did, it was 2016. So, at that point then the apps and the dating online thing was big, so I tried all of that and go on these dates with people and like this kind of sucks. Like I don't like any of these people. I don't want to do this anymore. And I said I'm kind of done with this. I'm just going to like focus on my hobbies or my kids. I'm done with this dating thing. And then I ran into my wife, who I had known prior to but never really, we weren't really friends or anything. And so when I kind of was like, you know what, I'm done with this whole thing. I deleted all the apps. I'm like, this stuff is stupid. Then I ran into my wife. So it works out. I always say, if you stop looking for it, it'll find you.
well, that's what happened with me. Like, and I've been with Cody for 16 years. Prior to Cody, I was with my ex for 10. And MW, to answer your question, I met my first on a BBS, which was a bulletin board service, which is what happened like back in the night. It was like all ASCII, like remember like DOS prompt, that type of shit. And then
we had chat rooms.
Yeah, and then second one I met on an AOL chat room. Like it was like 18 men for men. Then I met my third in like another AOL chat room, Long Island Men for Men, which I was with for 10.
You know what's amazing?
Years.
If you wanted to go to a chat room with just men, you would go into the Men Seeking Women, and it was all just men. There was never a woman in there.
That's how you found people back then, like and then like remember like AOL, like before, like I would have to like put the stapler on the return key because you could never like get on it. Remember how annoying it was to get onto AOL? Like all 4 lines are always like busy, so I'd have to rig my stapler like on my keyboard so it hit redial like automatically.
Yeah.
Oh my god, the AOL days. I still have my AOL account. Well, my AOL email. I don't use it anymore.
Do you really? Oh my god.
I still have an email with an AOL.com.
I have some clients every once in a while that'll be like, my email is at Hotmail. I'm like, oh my god, how old are you?
Hotmail. Wow.
But I don't have any more emails or AOLs. I haven't ran into one of those in a while.
Well, AIM was like the when I was like undergrad, like in the dorms, like AIM was like your social profile, like going to the library, have class over here, then having lunch with this one, then going down, AIM was like the thing before, like, Friendster and MySpace, and
the chat rooms were region specific. You could go to just like the world, or you could go to region specific. Like you could go to like Southeast Michigan or something.
I miss MySpace. There was nothing like, getting mad at a friend and lowering their rating from number 2 to like number 18, like overnight when you were pissed at them. Like MySpace was the best. Like we need to bring back MySpace.
It still exists.
It's
MySpace
not like
still
it was
exists.
though.
No, it's
Like,
not like it was. Yeah.
I go into work the next day, I'd be like, oh, I got bumped up from like, 7th to like 3rd, and then I dropped from like 2nd to like 13th. I'm like, oh shit, like what? And you walk into work like, not knowing like what was going on. I miss MySpace. I thought
remember,
MySpace was the funnest of all the social media platforms. I do.
Remember when ranking on your phones was important? Like, so you had like speed dial was when you had the old clunky phones before.
Oh, that was like the whole
smartphones.
Seinfeld episode. You're number 1 on my speed dial. You're number 2 on my speed dial. Like, yes.
Yeah. And so I had this one girl that I was dating, number 5, and she's like, "Why am I 5? Why am I 5 on yours?" And I was like, "Because you're the center of everything." That was my bullshit excuse, but I put her at 5. No, I didn't care at all. But I was like, I thought.
Oh, I know. I
would
have played that card too. I would have.
Oh God, yeah. When we could actually rank people, that was great.
It was great. MySpace needs to come back and like do it. Like, and I put so much time into my MySpace page. Like, I love, like I loved everything about MySpace. I can't believe that it's, I don't know, and everyone's like, Facebook's gonna like, suck, but Facebook's still around and MySpace isn't, and
I've been rewatching South Park. I went back to like season 5 and started rewatching it, and there was an episode where they focus on Facebook, and like Stan's dad is like, "How come you're not friends with me on Facebook?" And this whole thing, and I was trying to figure out like when was, because my kids are like, "Oh, Facebook's for old people now," but it was like 2010 or 11 that episode came out. I'm like, wow, it's been that long when like Facebook was the new hip thing and everyone had to have it, and now it's for old people and everyone is on TikTok and Snapchat.
Yeah, and that's why I can't go on. Like, I tried TikTok, I suck at it. Like, Snapchat,
The scary thing about Snapchat is it has cool filters. So every once in a while, I'll re-download it just to like do some pictures with some fun filters. And then I'm always in incognito, but I look and you can see random people and where they are. It's like, oh, this Susie woman is at the restaurant, down the road from us. Why the hell does she want me to know this?
Were you on Foursquare? Like when you used to check into places and like you get badges for it. Remember Foursquare?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I would check in at the water tower. John Yates is at the Franklin Square water tower. And like I'd be like the king of the water tower. And I'd be like, ha, here I am. And then,
but it's like, why do you want everyone to know where you are? Why is that public?
And like I would be like, John Yates is in the bathroom at McDonald's. Like, I'm shitting. And like, but like I'm like, let me check in to the toilet here. Oh my God, I miss Foursquare. Like that was like the best. And I was like the mayor. Oh, that's what they called you, the mayor of like, I was the mayor of Walmart. I don't know. I don't know why everybody was so fascinated with that. I was, but everybody was. That's how it went back then.
It was new and novel. I call myself an Xennial because I kind of fall in that in between spot with just my age. But a great definition of it is when you were growing up and you were young, you didn't have any of this technology. But when it became available, you were still young enough to easily adapt to it and you remember it being new. And I feel like that's a good definition of an Xennial. And I love that I have the memories before all of this. And I'm sad that my kids don't, because now they're on all this stuff where like everyone knows everything about where they are and what they're doing and who they like and who they don't like. And it's exhausting. But to be a kid doing it, it would be even worse.
Yeah, like I couldn't imagine. Like I loved it growing up, as a teenager in the 90s. I would pray that I would get the answering machine at my house, like when I wanted to stay out late, like, and I would like leave like a 10-second message before they could pick up. Hey, I'm at Mike's. I'll be home later. Bye. I'm safe. And then you hang up real quick, and they can't get you. And like but you called and you checked in, and like
Yeah.
having you tracked, and like I just
Did you do the
like
collect
I had
call scam?
I had a
Y-
beeper. Had that. I had the
Oh,
beeper.
so the collect call scam, like my parents would beat me
Oh, hi, this
or
is Sean.
whatever.
I'm over here. You have a collect
Yeah,
call
yeah, yeah,
from
yeah. Because you
John's
had to
Amy. She'll
announce
be
your
home soon.
name.
Yeah, that's it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, I remember that. Then you're like, oh, I got to find a payphone and call my parents. But it was nice. Nobody worried about anything. Everyone just like one point I was sitting at home and my parents were at home. And then all of a sudden this strange car pulled in the driveway and with a bike sticking out the back. And my brother was riding his bike and it like slammed into the side of this woman's car. And she just drove him home. And but it was like nobody knew it happened. You didn't know when it happened. And all of a sudden he just sort of shows up with this woman and she brought him home and he was fine, but his tire was all busted up. Uh and now it would be like an instant phone call and the parents would be rushing out there and it would just time was so much nicer.
Down in my friend's driveway, like they had like a little bit of incline. Like I scraped the shit out of everything. Like my arm, I came home bleeding like I just got shot. And like my grandparents were like, "Well, what happened?" I'm like, "Oh, I was in Angelica's driveway. I hit the pavement the wrong way." Like, okay,
Yeah.
so, like don't get on the
That's
sheets.
how I am with
Don't sit
with
in the
my
living
kids.
room with the white carpet. Don't sit in there. Get out of there. And that was it. Remember, like back when payphones, which one you just said, like the 1-800 call ATT, like the calling card, like call down the middle. Remember that?
Oh
I
yeah,
had that.
yeah.
Like that was
Remember.
like your free way of like making like a call from like any payphone, like like call down the center 1-800 AT&T, and like you could call anybody. Shit, I used that a lot in high school. My God, I haven't thought about call down the center in a while.
I remember one time I wanted to sneak out and we had a of high school and we had the parking lot attendant, that would like be patrolling so you couldn't leave. And so we snuck out to the library and we used the payphone and called the school and said that we pretended to be the parking lot attendant's husband and we're like, he had an emergency. We needed to speak with her real quick.
That's good.
Before caller ID, before any of this stuff. And so then we saw her like running into the school, and so we got in the car and left. You can't do that stuff anymore.
Kids
Everyone's
can't
got
get away
caller
with
ID.
shit anymore. Like, and
I
I'm not
know.
a parent and I never will be, but like, and I guess I should be grateful if I was a parent, like that kids couldn't do that. But like, I don't know. It also builds character. I want to say, like it makes you think. Yeah, I could not imagine growing up now in these times, like when you could get beep, traced, whatever. Like but like when we were kids, like you were just outside all the time. Like when I got home
Yeah.
from school, like go outside and play with your friends, and you play kickball or whatever, and that's what you did. Like
I would get
weren't
home
in the
from-
house.
I got home on the bus and then I'd hop on my bike and I'd be riding like halfway back to school and go hanging out with my friends.
Yeah.
And then I'd be home at some point for dinner. And my parents had no idea where I was or what I was doing.
And they didn't care.
No,
Nobody cared. Like it was like
Yeah.
it's fine. Bad things didn't happen back then. Like, there was no gluten. Like, the stuff like that didn't exist. Like, I don't understand it. Now everyone's like gluten free. Like, what's gluten? I still don't understand what fucking gluten is. But like, like everybody was a kid and they survived. And like they got cuts and bruises and scrapes and this, that, and
how did we survive with little Tommy eating peanut butter next to us every day, right?
It was just amazing. Like, and everyone's so frail and like fragile and triggered and fuck. Like
I tried to raise my kids so that they're not. Like my son was on his buddy's dirt bike and like fell and scraped himself all up and came home like all tattered and bleeding. And I was like, all right, well, hose yourself off before you go in the house. That was kind of my, that's what my parents would have said.
What's being sneaky was my friend Angelica going into like her kitchen, getting like that big powdered, like remember like the big powdered iced tea that was so delicious. What
I never
was it?
had
The Lipton,
powdered
it's
iced tea.
like that big giant Lipton powdered iced tea.
Oh,
And
yes, yes, yes.
we would take the scoops of it and just drink the powder, like eat the powder, like without any liquid, because it was like pure fucking sugar. And then like us being like, you know, revolutionaries back in the day, like we would like, I'm like, Angelica, go, because we weren't allowed in our own houses when we were playing with our friends. We weren't like, we just weren't. I'm like, Angelica, go get the iced tea so we could drink it. And she'd go and she'd bring out the Lipton thing. And like we get the garden hose, and that's how we would drink it. Like it's like
Yes.
my friends thought my house was a museum because my grandma was like, no one's allowed inside the house ever. You know, white carpets and all that. Like, you know, she had her reasons. Right. But it was just like what we were outside with each other, like riding our bikes to places we shouldn't have rode our bikes to. And it's like I don't.
Yeah, it's
That Lipton iced tea was the best. Do they still make that? Like, if you've never had, like, it was like a big bucket, and it was like pink. And
I have a very specific iced tea that I drink. It's Pure Leaf is all I drink now. But I prefer. I never liked the stuff that had like a chemically taste, so I always made it myself, iced tea specifically. But then I discovered Pure Leaf. So, all right. Have you ever been caught red-handed doing something that you weren't supposed to do?
Yes.
Of course. Who hasn't? That's the next question.
And I'm not elaborating.
At what age should a person be considered 100% responsible for their actions? That's a good question. Is it 18? Is it less than that? If it's less than what?
18. I would think 18. I think if at 18 you're graduating college, you're graduating high school, you're going off to college, or maybe 21.
See, it always used to be 21 until the US military wanted more soldiers and then said, well, we could start recruiting and enlisting at 18, so we'll make 18-year-olds adults. But then if we're going to make them adults, then we got to give them the right to drink and the right to vote. And then they took away the drinking part. And
That's
now the
a good
smoking
thing. SC says 16 because you start driving. So, I mean, like...
Yeah.
Okay. That's a tough one. I would guess 18. I would say like that's like the, you know, the commencement of you ending one part of your life with, you know, assuming that people go to college, with that, and then moving on with the next stage of your life. I would think 18 would be my answer on that one.
Describe a time when you felt like a terrible person. I feel like I know this answer already.
Yeah, there's too many times when I felt like a terrible person. I'm gonna take a pass on this one, Dave. Okay. It's just I've made a litany of mistakes in my life. So yeah.
I could rattle off at least half a dozen right now if I wanted to. So I get it. We'll move on. Do you go easy on people in games or sports when you know that your skill level is much higher than theirs?
Nope. Sorry. Nope. And if you ever see me in a trivia panel, nope. Nope.
And that's why I didn't slow down my Lego build, sir.
And I appreciate that. Like, you know, I was fine with it. Because if the shoe was on the other foot and it was me watching you struggle, I would be like, let me put this together faster and make him sweat even fucking more. I would have done the same fucking thing. I would have, absolutely. No, I you know, there's not many things that I'm good at competitively, you know. So like when I'm good at something, yeah, like game fucking on. I don't care what your problems are. I'm gonna beat you. You know, that's how it goes.
And it makes the other person more competitive and therefore a better person.
Exactly. You fight, you know, you play up, not down.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Unfortunately, when I'm playing sports, I tend to play down. But that's not intentional.
Just like tennis, like, you know, you play up, not down. Like, you know, when you want to get better with if you want to get better, you practice with somebody that's better than you, right?
Right.
So in that kind of like spirit, like that's how I see me being competitive elsewhere. And I'm not good at many things, but the things that I am good at, I excel at. So yeah, if you want to bring me on, then like I don't care. If you've never played trivia, if you never played tennis, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna whoop your ass. And you know,
I should have got a
you're
trivia game
entering
out.
the arena, so you know, bring your A game.
Who is the biggest role model in your life?
My grandmother.
Okay. That was easy.
And there's not much thought to it. My grandmother.
As you get older, do you find like you act more like your parents?
Well, haven't seen my mom since 1988, and I've really never had a relationship with my dad. So, gotta laugh at that one. And
Well, let's go with your grandparents, your grandmother. You don't have the white carpet, but otherwise.
No, my grandmother was like, you know, in all essence, my mom. And she was the one that taught me to be competitive and, you know, hone your skills and, you know, do what makes you shine. And so, yeah, on my grandmother's side, yeah. And yeah.
I've got a couple more questions, and I'm gonna have to jump off because I was in the
Oh, this
middle
has
of
been a great
working.
live. I started this live like without any idea how this was going to go, and I have to say I really enjoyed this. We have to do this more often, Dave.
Definitely. Well, Wendy has the same game too, so if she decides to put on her lipstick and jump on with us, what is the ideal retirement age? What age do you think people should be retiring?
I mean, I don't know. Everyone retires at 65. Like, I don't know. You know, I've had most of my family die between their 50s and 60s. Like, you know, that was like you know, all of my mom's side that I was raised with is all gone. And I don't know. I don't think it should be 65. I think because, you know, my aunt died. I think it should be younger than 65. I think 65 is already pushing it. I think,
The
but
question
I know
was,
that
sorry, someone in your chat's asking what the question was. Is what's the ideal age for retirement?
I would like it to be less than 65.
I feel like 60 is a good one because I mean, depending on the average person lives to what, like 79 now or 78 or something. So still got a good amount of your life to go live without the stresses of working. So I was like 60.
But you should still be like full of life and be able to like do things that like you still want to do without having to worry about like being like, you know, immobilized or,
I'm
you
also
know.
thinking from a societal standpoint. Do we want our best and brightest with the most experience just sort of wandering off at 55?
Well, I mean, look at the presidential. Well, it's not. You know what?
Well,
Never
yeah,
mind.
okay.
I strike
I
that
would
from the
love to have a
record.
55-year-old president.
Yeah. You know, it's weird that like, you know, most companies won't hire anybody who's like, you know, super up there, but like, you know, what the biggest job in the world is having like, you know, 80-year-olds vie for it, and that's insane to me. That is insane to me. And
Speaking of, that goes like right into the next question. If you had the world's attention for 30 seconds, you could say whatever you wanted, and every human being on the world is going to see it and understand it. What would you say or what would you do?
I would say just remember who I used to be, and hopefully you can remember, you could see it now.
Okay. Have you ever won or been chosen for something despite thinking that you had no chance?
I didn't think I was gonna be valedictorian.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was gonna be. Then they made me captain of the tennis team. I didn't think that was gonna happen. No, yeah, like I like surprising myself. But like honestly, I haven't had that type of drive and since college.
I just go
I
back to
did
my
have that
wife.
type.
Like I had no chance with her, and I surprised myself when she said yes. You know, because
That's
she's way out
awesome.
of my league. That's the last
I
of my
believe that.
questions for tonight. By the way, we went through like if that felt like a lot of questions, like this is what we went
No.
through, and this is
No, it actually it didn't. It didn't. I really thoroughly enjoyed every second of this live. And thank you so much for coming up and for the people in chat. Like I really I started this live not having a single fucking thing to talk about. Nothing. I'm like, let me just go live and see what happens. And I could not have asked for a better result than this.
that's great. I'm glad I could be a part
Dave,
of it.
you are really a great guy, and I'm so happy that Wendy made us cross paths and Valhalla as well. I love you guys. I could talk to y'all for hours. I think we're all cut from the same cloth, and we need to do more of this. I like all of this, and
That's good.
it was great. So before you go, please tell everybody the multiple channels you have and how they could talk to you and watch you.
So at Lego Law in Life is my Lego channel where we talk we talk life and interview various people while building a Lego. Our next stream is a week from today with another YouTuber. She has a smaller channel, it's mainly a clip channel, but she was like in our circle and clipping us. And she's been distant.
Wait, so you're telling me I have a week to put the owl back together? Is that what you're saying
You
right
have
now?
a week. You have a week.
Uh-oh, Cody. I think we
1
have,
week.
we have to take a mission.
He checked out.
He's not going live for 2 weeks on the Lego channel. We have 1 week to get this
Leave
owl
a
put
message
together.
after the beep.
Bad, sorry.
He's gone
And
for
then
2 weeks.
so you can check that out. My other channel is called MLS, Making Law Simple. And that is a lot more law coverage. I, would do trial streams. I'm an attorney, if you couldn't guess by the name. But so I have one stream coming up that I keep pushing off because I don't have the documents to talk about. Otherwise, I really don't have anything pending on that channel. So it's mainly the Lego Law. If you want to see more of me in this sort of setting, check out the Lego Law channel. That's where you see me most often. So, and then I have another secret channel. Well, I have like 1,000.
Well, you don't list your secret channels.
I don't list my secret channels. So, but yeah, so check it out. Last week we had where'd it go? Last week on our Lego channel we had Skiff, he's American born, but lives in Sweden right now. He's an actor, writer, director, and this is his show called We Got This, where we went into the conspiracy theory of the assassination of the Swedish Prime Minister. It's like a dark comedy. It's really funny. And so he was our guest.
Let me just wait. You're. Can I replay what you just said? I want that back. Like I might have to make like a. You're like, oh, this is a great movie about the prime minister, the Swedish prime minister, and you're like, it's a great funny movie. You guys are gonna love it. I'm sorry.
It is. It's a
that
dark
might be one of my sound bites now, Dave.
nice. And then on October 19th or 18th, whatever, 3 weeks from now, we have Ron Coleman, who's a New York attorney that ended up representing a Korean pop band called The Slants. I don't know if you know them. They filed trademark and copyright for their name, and the U.S. Copyright Office rejected it, saying it was racist. Their Korean band called The Slants, and like, no, you can't have that. It's racist. And so that case ended up going all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court, and the U.S. Supreme Court said, yeah, even if you think it's racist, doesn't mean that you can reject their name. So he's going to be on with us. and we'll be
Well,
talking.
when is
some-
that? Because that sounds really interesting. When is that?
October. I'm gonna get the exact date here. That is October 19th at 9 p.m. Eastern. So Ron Coleman will be on with us.
And
We'll
that
be
day
talking-
just recently opened up for me, so I will be
Nice.
there watching it. All right, Dave, thank you so much for being here.
No problem.
I mean, Dave, stay for a second. I'm going to end this live. You know, Saturday Night Live is starting now. It's 50th anniversary, so kind of already
They still
running
make that
into
show?
it. But, I'm not gonna watch this tomorrow, but you know, I know people probably want to watch it. But guys, thank you so much for being here. What a great live. I really had a good time, and I'll see you tomorrow or something like that. Bye everybody.
Bye.
And thank you, Dave.